I started leaning a lot more into plants, let's say, and giving up animal-based foods before Olympics. And it was initially very much because of the ethics behind it, and I began to understand what goes on behind closed doors in our food system. I encourage everyone to know the truth and look deeper so that they know exactly what the process was for that living being to make it to their plate. And so I just uncovered that on my, as many of us, some have and some haven't. And so that was the real instigator of it. It was my why of why I wanted to stop eating animal products, and not it, especially not as a performance enhancement tool, but they are now. I mean, we have a lot of athletes that are, big athletes, and Novak Djokovic. So I didn't realize that the plant-based diet was going to be a performance enhancement tool. I didn't have any idea. Nobody was talking about it back then. Now, so many athletes are recognizing, like, it's a performance hack. I mean, it's kind of a secret, that you can really repair and recover faster. I was starting to wake up and not feel so, lethargic and swollen and inflamed, because training is tear down, it's damage, right? So you kind of live with chronic inflammation and oxidative stress as an athlete. But the foods that I was eating, nutrition that I was putting in was fighting that, and I just felt incredible most of the time. I mean, I didn't feel that downward spiral that you feel after a really hard training block, really hard training week, and you feel like you have to, be in the ice bath and in the massage room for like forever. I wasn't experiencing that anymore. So really, it was a wonderful enhancement that it was a surprise, because I didn't know that's what was going to happen. My dream and goal for the future is to really help every single active person, amateur athlete, professional athlete in the world understand that they do not have to consume animal foods to be strong, right? And just completely unravel that myth that we have been told by a lot of our sporting federations, of our governments, and just people in general that have perpetuated that myth that we think we need animals, we have to eat animals to be able to do what we do. So my foundation, Switch for Good, is all about that. And we educate all over the world. We're doing some really unique education programs with some of the major league ball sport teams in the U.S. That are basketball, baseball, all men, and really some of the older athletes on those teams who want to see longevity in their careers are very interested in how they can improve their nutrition to be able to get a couple more years, because the big ball sports in America, I mean, it's millions and millions of dollars every year. So if you can play one more year or 2 more years or even 3 more years, that could mean the difference, right, between being able to just retire and put your feet up and and not have to work anymore. So it's incredible to see how many people are so much more open to the message and understanding. Specifically, dairy, for example, is not necessary to build strong bones. In fact, it doesn't help you build strong bones at all, and that those foods are unnecessary. And many people, I should say, and most people of African descent, Asian descent, are intolerant to even digesting dairy, known as lactose intolerance. And so it's very empowering for them to uncover that understanding that the dairy foods have been making them feel uncomfortable and unable to breathe and asthmatic and stuffy runny nose and throat and cramping and skin conditions, that's what's been happening to them for so long. So of course, if you can get rid of those foods that are inflaming your body, that are creating those outcomes, you're going to be the better athlete, because you're going to perform so much better because you aren't uncomfortable and miserable and on the toilet all the time or feeling so inflamed. Well, the reaction from different athletes is different every time. Some of them come to us at Switch for Good. A couple of the major league ball sports at home in the U.S. have come to us, so that's been really exciting. It's kind of like they've heard or they've read or they know of a major athlete who has gone dairy-free or has moved away from eating animal foods. So those teams are more open because they've invited us in. But once we get in there and we start to present and educate to their trainers and their coaches and their team doctors and their dietitians, they're skeptical, because it's just very hard for people to kind of make that shift in their brain from what they've been taught and thought was correct their whole lives. So you just have to, we take some baby steps. We present the science and we present the anecdotal stories, but you have to allow people to take their own journey too, which is tough because people's journeys sometimes take a while, and you're like, want it to happen overnight. But you have to let them, right? People make choices and decisions based on their own personal conviction, not because you told them to do something. So, this requires patience, and it requires meeting people where they are, and it requires love. Imagine that, it requires just you loving on them and understanding that you were once there too, because I ate meat and dairy for 35 years of my life. So, just, understanding that I get where they're coming from.